from the simulated Atlanta Motor Speedway, where this track was recently configured to the Super Speedway format here. So maybe they'll one day change it to Atlanta Super Speedway. Weather on the track right now, love to cover that before we get things rolling. 95 on the track surface, 81 in the sky, so a little bit hotter here. And I've seen a lot of slipping and sliding so far in this practice session. I had a little quick driver's meeting before practice and even practice was going on. And the double file or the double line effector on the bottom is in effect for the most part. There's a little leniency depending on if you're too wide or whatnot, but typically we should see these guys above the double white line there all right around the racetrack. My name is Jeremy Stanley, and to my right is going to be my producer and co-host this evening, Mr. Dustin Loxton. How's it going, dude?
It's going very well. Yes, I'm typically not here. Yes, hopefully audio is working this time. We checked and double checked that. So if it's still not working, we definitely need to find new lines of professions here. But it's Atlanta. I mean, it's going to be a fun track. Second time that Full Throttle Sim Racing has ran this particular configuration with the trucks. I believe last season Richie Coy took the pole and the victory here. But with the package that these trucks do have right now, I mean, this track is ran like a super speedway. This is like a third super speedway that these drivers come to. So it's going to be ran like that. You're going to see pack racing. You're going to see drafting. You're going to see big ones. More than likely, there's a high probability it's going to happen because it's just the name of the game when it comes to tracks like this, Jeremy.
Yeah, you are correct. Richie did get the pole, and he won this race last season, but that was with 16 trucks in the field. Right now, I think if I'm counting correct, that's 34 currently entered in for this race before qualifying.
35, we just had one drop in.
35 drivers. That's over double the count. So Richie's still top of the boards at a 0.26, but this is all draft. Takes a lot of luck, a lot of skill here because these trucks do get loose through these really tight, super baked corners here. So, those big ones are going to be bigger, and the racing's going to be that much better.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, it's a love-hate relationship when it comes to this track here. Some people love this configuration. Some people don't like this configuration near as much. I'm hit or miss. I like the old configuration. I don't mind this configuration, but I mean, I like plate racing anyway. It's just, something that's in my wheelhouse. Again, going to take a lot of drivers are going to have to think smart. They're going to have to be smart when they make their moves. They're going to have to try to think like if they were racing at Talladega or Daytona. I mean, that's just how it's going to have to be. Pit is going to be very, very tricky coming in here, much like it is at Daytona and Talladega, Jeremy. I mean, we could see the big one as they come into pit if they hit green flag pit stops.
Yeah, this track hasn't been updated either. You mentioned the pit stops there. You have to come out of turn 4, at a big pack sometimes. And if you need to come down pit road, you don't have much time to cut down and slow up your truck to make pit road speed. I know in the real life they moved that entrance into the apron of turn 3, so it gives drivers a lot more time to do so. But right now, they're still in turn 4 exit here. You got to whoa up real quick. And it's an interesting race, too, in the fact that last week, Dustin, we had 11 cautions at Phoenix. So there was a lot of hardship, a lot of people that weren't too happy with some people or just how things went in general. And now you got to bundle them up 35 deep here at a super speedway.
Yeah, Phoenix was just rough all around. I mean, it was even rough in the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series we've seen this past Monday. Definitely a lot of cages were rattled. It's your typical, I mean, that's seen as a short track. It's your typical short track racing. I mean, it happens. But, like you said, now you got to put these drivers all together from last week and all the ups and downs that Phoenix brought. And now you're putting them inches away from each other for 200 miles. So, I mean, it's going to be a barn burner for sure coming down to it. And you very well may see some of those tempers kind of carry over a little bit depending on what happens. I know the admins are probably not wanting that, but hey, I mean, that's what happens when it's racing. You put 35 drivers together on a track, especially a configuration like this and tight quarters racing, points are on the line. I mean, that's why they call it Hot Atlanta, more ways than one, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's going to be heated up for sure with 35 entries here. The biggest sim race that I've seen personally at this racetrack with the trucks. Doing a recap that Ryan Chapman, currently still your points leader, has a 22-point lead over second place and rookie of this league, Alan Duranco. And then Tommy Schaefer, also a rookie of this place, He's third in points at 30 points back. So right now we got a little bit of a early separation here from Ryan Chapman, who's just been on a roll this season, doing excellent. And it's Atlanta. You know, we don't know what's going to be in store for him tonight. It's a super speedway. So he did well at Daytona. Let's see if he can go, you know, back to back on a good solid finish here. We're going to go ahead on board with Richie Coy. He did win our practice. So I like to highlight the drivers that do well in practice.
I
Richie
will
Coy,
say, Jeremy, it is, I mean, the points battle right now, I mean, you're talking Chapman, talking Duranko, Schaefer, some new names coming into it. You know, I'm rooting for him. I think it's awesome. You know, Chapman's been stout. It's good to see him run stout. We've been calling races for him, you know, since, you know, he first started over here. So it's good. I'd love to see some of these new faces, new drivers, some of the new young blood talent come in and, you know, really start mixing things up. It's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, and Tommy Schaefer, he did so good in the first couple races, and he's been, you know, hit or miss the past couple of weeks. But I'm expecting him to get this thing turned around. He's 30 points out, third place. I think he can put a good run for Ryan Chapman as his season comes about almost halfway at this point. Really looking forward to seeing these rookies. Another couple of rookies, too. Cody McKinney, 8th place in points. Timothy Stubblefield with Stub Nation, always welcome in the chats. He's right now sitting in 10th, 52 points back. A lot of drivers here at a track that could cause some major wrecks. You know, these guys can flip the script with themselves back in championship contention right away.
Oh, yeah, and like you said, I mean, it's the top 10 is heated up. I mean, and not even just the point battle. I mean, the rookie battle. I mean, this is probably one of the most stout rookie classes we've seen at Full Throttle Sim Racing since we've been calling the races over here, Jeremy. I mean, a lot of good names there, and a lot of them are up in that top 10 in points, top 5, top 10, even top 15. So they're right there. So, I mean, it's going to be a good one. But like you said, this is a track that everything can go awry. We're just going to have to see what happens. We're on board with Richie Coy right now. You see him cut all the way down through the two dog legs there in that quad oval, all the way down next to that grass and come back up, runs down the middle, trying not to cut as much speed off. A slight graze down right to that white line, tries to hold that line. Again, minimal wheel input, not to scrub speed off. This is typical super speedway racing. Back down again, right through that quad oval, crosses the line. That's going to put him right now, Jeremy, P1, top of the charts.
Right where he found himself last season on the second race in Atlanta. First place, he has a good 2/100ths of a second over TJ Bartel. Really close there, second and third, only 2/1000 separate TJ Bartel and Talon Smith. Really just a bunch of 8s, a bunch of 9s, so of course it's super speedway, but there is some handling in this track, especially in the long run. You won't see the packs as large because of the way the tires wear here, and these trucks get really loose and slippery. So, but initially this start of the race is going to be something to see here. Richie's still holding the board here. Can he go back-to-back poles at Atlanta?
Right now, as it's looking, we were on board with Tommy Schaefer, brought that number 29 to P10. You see him get a little wobbly coming out of turn 4, and that's where he scrubbed a little bit of that speed coming off of turn 4 there. So drivers got to be careful with that. Right now, though, it's looking like Coy is holding that top spot, but like you said, times are so close, Jeremy. I mean, this is typical super speedway racing right now. I do want to give a shout out to Edward Blom in the chats as well, saying let's go Angie. Yes, we did get the pronunciation right. Thank you last week for whoever corrected us on that one there. Much appreciated. But again, Jeremy, it's going to be close, and it's going to be close all race long. About the only thing that is going to separate these drivers is either going to be a wreck, and that's either being damaged and undamaged cars or green flag pit stops. Some people hit pit stops good. Some people, myself included, not the best at pit stops at times, and I tend to lose time. That's about the only time you're going to see separation with these trucks.
I know you have to get down to speed so quick. I think if I remember correctly, we saw quite a few penalties on speed entry. Just at so much speed you carry into that exit of 4, and you just have to nail the brakes. We got 30 seconds left in qualifying. Kyle Milliken just took his second lap. Joshua O'Connor is coming out late onto the track. I don't think he's going to get his second lap as he is going to cross the line here for his out lap. Yeah, so I don't think he's going to be able to get a time in. But
I don't think so, nope.
It looks like Richie Coy is going to be your pole sitter for 2 times in a row in Atlanta.
Well, the man knows how to get it done. He knows how to go around this track. He's been fast here with this new configuration. He's definitely led the way, but I'm telling you, Jeremy, I mean, like you talked about, I mean, we're talking, hundreds of a second separation between, some of these positions. Got some fast drivers up there. It's going to be a wild one.
And it really surprised me too with Fury Motorsports. These guys work so hard and have a really good super speedway package, but right now, Tony Solari is 11th and Brody Hand didn't even qualify. So curious to how that team is going to go advancing to the field here. But it is race time. We're going to go down to the starting order for today's lineup and get our mugs off your guys' screen. Richie Coy is going to take P1. TJ Bartell is going to start second. Talon Smith is going to start third. Bobby Terrell fourth. Nick Goebel fifth. Michael Blackner sixth. Lane Allen in seventh. Brian Bliss in eighth. Stephen Hollingsworth in ninth. Ryan Chapman, points leader, in 10th.
Yeah, 11th is going to be Tommy Schaefer. Just got knocked out of that top 10. Joey McKinney is going to be in 12th. 13th is going to be Tyler Brown. 14th is Colby Meese. 15th is going to be Randy Henshaw the second. Sherwood Williford starts P16. Justin Diltz rolls off 17th. Kyle Milliken to his outside in 18th. 19th is going to be Seth Vaughn. And rounding out your top 20, another fellow Illinoisan is Tony Solari.
21st, Stephen Loomis. Starting in 22nd, Colton Gum. 23rd, Cody McKinney. 24th, Joshua O'Connor. 25th place, Josh Mayu. 26th, Chad Curran. 27th, Douglas Hess. 28th, James Torrey. 29th, Rick Webb. 30th place, Brody Hanna. 31st, Alan Duranco. 32nd, Timothy Stubblefield. 33, Steve Angie. 34th, Maxwell Solsch. 35th, Brian Hess, and we got our maximum field entry of 36 drivers. Going to round out the field is Leonard staying in the number 9.
It is going to be a wild one. You talked about some of the drivers, and you pointed out Fury Motorsports. So here's the thing, Jeremy. I mean, there could be a little strategy in on this one here. We know this is ran like a plate track, like a super speedway. So you got Richie Coy up leading the pack. He's going to be controlling one of the lanes. Perfect. Tony Solari starting in the middle. Brody Hanna not qualifying. Not uncommon not to see drivers take time to start in the back. Why? Because sometimes being in the back, you're away from that big one. You can see it happen. You can slow up in enough time. So, again, not uncommon, Jeremy, on some of the strategy that you've already seen, play out.
I'm just really curious to see how this race goes. The clouds are out. So that means there's extra grip most likely on the surface. So I'm expecting a really, really racy start here. Some of these teams are in the back. They're going to come up forward. It is very common to see a lot of these guys come from the back to the front. But a super speedway like this, will we see some early 3 wide? People in a hurry trying to get to the front, or do they play the card of, hey, we're just going to, chill out for this time and then wait for after the stage, which stage is on lap 40. As we're going to go for a second pace lap. The initial start was waved off by 1 lap here, so it gives them guys a little extra time to get themselves grouped up and ready for this 130 lap Atlanta 200.
Yeah, now I don't know, Jeremy. It's going to be tough. I mean, they know that they have that stage break coming up to lap 40. They know that that's coming. They know it's going to group everybody together. I would honestly be surprised to see a lot of 3 wide racing in this first stage. I think a lot of the drivers, in my opinion, it'd be best to kind of take it easy, not push it 3 wide, just make it to that lap 40 stage break to make it to the second stage would be the best option. Now, 3 wide later on in the race, abso-freaking-lutely. I think that's going to be a gimme as drivers are trying to make a bid for it, and especially as they get a little bit more comfortable with the track and with the grippiness that it has. Do you want to give a shout out to the head nerd in charge? She's out there, says hi in the chats on the Twitch sphere there, watching us. So again, hi, how you doing? Hopefully you enjoy the show. But Jeremy, I think it's about time to pull those belts tight, Bubba. It's going to be a wild one. It's going to be a fun one, and it's going to be a fast one.
If they haven't done so already, now is the time to do it. You're going to need it because this is going to be a pretty crazy race here. We've noticed, Dustin, that the stage breaks, the stage 1, you can go all the way without having to make a green flag pit stop. So it is just all or nothing for the first 40 laps to get yourself set up, see what your truck can or cannot do, get your teammates in line, make sure everything's in check before you head off to the longer second stage where you have to make the green flag pit stop, which is going to be sketchy here in Atlanta, as always, with this newly reconfigured speedway. But waiting for that pace car to drop down, which he does so now. Waiting for the green flag to fly. I'm kind of curious to see how much 2x2 racing we're going to see, if there's any 3-wide. Just a lot of unknowns for me at this point. The green flag is out. Richie Coy's going to have a great start with the 1. TJ Bartel to his outside. Going to quickly take over first place, Richie Coy is. And the number 5 as well of Talon Smith is going to be now in second place, sole owner of that position.
Yeah, that inside line, Richie Coy got an excellent start there with a good push from Smith in that 5 truck as they go down the backstretch. Don't know if Bartel got the start that he initially wanted. As you see Goebel hop up in the high line there on that 25, trying to get that going again. Remember, folks, this is going to be ran very reminiscent of a super speedway race. So, yeah, you can see high sides going, and you are going to see drivers utilize that side draft. The trick is, though, is not utilizing it so much to where you're making contact and potentially causing the big one.
Very calm start here to this race. The top 3 are by themselves, and then it's 2x2 on back. Have not seen any 3-wide action. About the last 10 cars in the field or so are now kind of spaced out, so we're already starting to see a 2-pack situation here. Pretty racy here, though, for 3rd through 6th right now, as the 14, Lane Allen, does get himself clear. And just 2x2 of the way back there, and Dustin. I know these guys like to keep it clean when they can, but I expect a little more raciness early on.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess they're doing exactly what I expected that they would do, and that's just take it easy, let the truck come in. You already seen some drivers there. It definitely looked like the 42 and Milliken on the backstretch might have hopped down to the low side there a little bit to, again, fall back. That is not uncommon whatsoever at these super speedway S tracks either. But I don't know, Jeremy. You and I guess, are opposite side of the coins there a little bit. They are racing exactly how I would expect them to race in this first stage. I feel that they are going to pull out all the stops once we get that last that caution to start the second stage. That's when I think things are going to get real hairy. But I have been wrong before, Jeremy. Yes, my wife, if she's watching, I know she is. You heard me admit it. I have been wrong before, and it could happen again.
I don't know if I should be admitting that or not, but that's on your own coin. And yeah, the top 5 now all single file here. Maybe I just thought with the stage break, this is new to FTSR in 2023, is where you break a third of the way through the race. I figured it'd be time to get really racy with each other to figure out exactly what your truck needs. But right now, a lot of these guys are just playing it safe. They're taking the easy car. They're giving a lot of space between each other, between the low truck and the high truck through the corners. You see about over a truck length of gap between most of these guys that are 2x2 right now as they're going underneath a lap car at the moment. Passed some pretty cleanly overall. He was going to come down maybe for a touch, but nope, he went back up to the track. Looks like that was the number 7 of Brian Hoskins, which surprised to see him drop back so early.
Yeah, and shout out in the chat from the head nerd in charge. This goes out to you, Jeremy. She goes, "Oh, BT Dubs, that snack though." For those of you that don't know, Mr. Jay Stan here, Jay Swifty, he is the master of the snacks. So always has a snack going on. But that aside, Jeremy, I'm noticing something too. A lot of these drivers are going to that low line right now, so they're running that low line. We only have about 5-6 trucks on that high side right now, being led by the 99 of Hollinsworth. You got drivers up there like Bartel, who has not left that high side since the drop of the green flag. But you also have the 22 of Blackner up there. He already has a season victory under his belt. He's up there on that high side as well. So, again, some of these drivers already committed to that high side. And just as I said that, we only had about 5 up there, Jeremy, and now that high side's starting to form. It happens that quick.
Picked up a new mic last year, middle to late of the year, and you don't hear the crunching effect. So even though that snack, there's always snacks in my drawer, but you don't get to hear it anymore. So, yeah, I haven't heard that name in a while, but I appreciate you, Brandy, for coming back and making me relive a little bit of 2022 there. But yeah, the top side has picked up business. Now we got about 10 trucks on the top. They are starting to make a grind to the top 5. They're 99 of Hollingsworth trying to get to the 14 side of laying down to get back into third place. As a couple of
Oh,
trucks like the 99 and 32 get a little high up there, almost tag the wall, and it's going to slow up their momentum here. And it's got the 25 and the 00 to clear them. Top 5 single file.
yeah, that was, and again, this is an open setup league, so a lot of these drivers, they're all running open setups. So sometimes, like you made mention in the pre-race show presented by Martin Sports, Jeremy, was handling is going to play a factor in this race, unlike what it does as far as Daytona and Talladega. And you've seen that a little bit there with the 99 kind of slipping up, as now he's side by side with Bobby Terrell in that number 4.
10 laps down, Richie Coy leading every single lap so far. First 10 of 130. Now the top 5 are still running single file here. Still a lot of double file back behind them. A lot of space still being given. That FTS or the Fury Motorsports group there, especially with Richie Coy, their setup that they put in these trucks for these super speedways is just remarkable how fast they are, which is kind of surprising why we're not seeing the 11 and the 23 up there where they should be. Because I know Solari, I think he finished third last year at this race late into the season. Now he's running still mid-pack in 15th place. So maybe it's just one of those things where he's trying something new, wanting to see if it's going to work. But right now, I think the 19th package is the one to go with.
Oh yeah, it definitely has that speed package. Definitely a good leader. It makes me wonder exactly how that truck is going to handle in the draft though, because all he has ever seen up to this point right now is that front pack. So again, don't know how that's going to happen. It may be he just wants to stay out front. Definitely going to have to be something that we kind of take a look at and keep our eye on.
Going through turn 3s and 4 to come to lap 14. Still clean racing right now. I think we're going to kick it over early, Dustin, to the turn up the tudes. We're going to bring the sounds of these trucks to you from Atlanta. Okay, bring it back. All right, and we're back here. It looks like a little audio technical difficulties with the sounds of the trucks through the turn up the tudes. We'll get that resolved for next week. But coming back through the to the live action here, the 19 and the 1 or the 5 rather are still doing their thing. It looks like they got a little extra speed over even the 14 of laying down. And notice that these two trucks have just a touch bit more separation between third on back. That tells me those trucks are handling really well. But when this long run happens, Dustin, when they get closer to lap 40, they've been running the bottom this entire time. Do you think the tires are still going to be in check?
It's hard to tell. I mean, they've been running that bottom pretty hard. I mean, we've seen it last season that the tire wear did play a factor in that with drivers that ran that low line for so long that they did have to drift to that high side to kind of let those tires cool a little bit, try to regain that that grip level again. But like you said, the 19 and the 5, they have been nose to tail this whole time. They're pulling some blistering laps. So it's going to be interesting as we are working lap 17 right now. Already 17 laps in, Jeremy. These guys have been pedal to the metal, balls to the wall since the drop of the green flag, and they are still going. So I do want to give a shout out in the chat. The head nerd in charge says she will be here more often. Going to be making a comeback for sure. Diane Chapman says, let's go, Ryan. Diane Chapman, that is Ryan's mom. Glad that you are joining the broadcast. Hopefully Ryan can get it done. Our current points leader right now in the Martin Sports Truck Series. And Jessica Stubblefield says, Stubbs! Exclamation point. Nothing more needs to be said. We know exactly who she's talking about, Jeremy.
And we just dropped off the nation, and now we're just calling him Stubbs. Let's see what he can do here. And he's not running a bad race. He's running a very conservative race. Currently sitting in 29th. Just kind of taking it easy. We do have that stage break, so they will be regrouped. These guys, Dustin, I saw the 00 and the 25 come off of the first kink there in the tri-oval, and they almost had a little bit of a door contact situation there. So some handling situations going on. Even turn 1 and 2 looked like the 11 of Tony Solari with a couple other guys around him got a little squirrely. So some ill handling trucks here early on.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about, Jeremy. I mean, these tires are going to play a little bit of a factor. You see the 28 there, Cody McKinney get a little sideways there. The back end got a little squirrely, just as you were talking about that. So, again, drivers probably just wanting to hold on for that another 20 laps, Jeremy, to try to get these trucks into pit road. Again, it's open setups. They can make adjustments. That's what's great about these. They have the ability. But even with the ill handling of these trucks right now, Jeremy, these guys are still running solid. I mean, Solari's running in the 18th position. McKinney in that 28 is in the 16th position. So still solidly in the top 10 right now. All they have to do is just hold on to make those quick adjustments in the pits.
Yeah, and they have to get there, and 20 laps into this 40-lap stint. 32, Michael Blackner was the one a couple laps to go in turn 1 that hit the wall, and a couple trucks like the 11 and the 18 had to make some quick diversions to not make contact with the 32. Right now on the top, we got a new person leading the charge. Well, he was the leading of the charge, the 00 there of Tyler Brown, but he does dip below the 25 of Nick Goebel. Going to resume on the bottom, which is going to take away some of that momentum from the top. And Stephen Hollingsworth back in the lead on the top lane, but they are 7 or 8 spots back. They're going to have to get really grouped up if they need the high side to do anything.
Yeah, they are really disorganized on that top side right now, Jeremy. I mean, you still got 18 laps to go before the stage break, but there's only 7 of them up on that top side. The rest of the trucks are on that low line. There's no organization up there. They had made that top side, that high side, as far up as 3rd place, but they have fallen now all the way back to just outside the top 10. As it did look like that the 91 of Diltz was thinking about hopping up there, and then the 18 of McKinney was hopped up there for a hot second and then thought better of it. So again, it's going to be tough, but it does look like we have another taker, Jeremy. First time we have seen that number 33. We know that machine running the silver and red paint scheme, or white and red, however you want to call it. Does look like there's a little bit of a spec map, but Sherwood Williford up on that high side trying to make some moves now.
Williford always coming from mid-pack to the front right now. He's up 6 positions from 16th to 10th. No surprise we're seeing that at 33. Tried to take charge a little bit here to see if he can advance himself into the top 5, as currently he does reside in 10th.
He is hauling. He is flat out hauling, Jeremy. He has gapped himself away from the 99. He is running a very different line going in. He lets that thing, I mean, he just full bores it into the corner, lets it drift up to the wall, and then brings it back down. He pulled to the high side, gained 3 positions on that one before pulling it back down in, Jeremy. So if drivers were paying attention, that might be something they might want to take some notes on.
Yeah, when he went up to the top, he actually gave himself a few truck separation between him and the 99. So that just shows you that single truck speed is there. Let's see if he can carry that into the top 5 as he now sits in 9th place, up 7 positions.
3 wide. 99 had a wiggle there of Hollingsworth, and the one of Bartel decided to take it 3 wide with Blackner on the inside, still 3 wide as they're trying to get this done. Finally, cycle back to 2. Little bit of a hairy, scary moment right there, Jeremy, as they went 3 wide going through the turn.
Steven's just having some ill-handling situations here. He's fallen back outside the top 20 now and continues to fall with no draft help. That's huge there early on for the 99. He needs to get that truck repaired or fixed up on the setup-wise to be contender here in the later half of this race.
Yeah, that was a good heads-up driving, though, on a lot of those drivers. Bartel was in that one truck that you see on your screen right now, just above Blackner in the 22. He was behind the 99 when he slipped up like that. And instead of rolling out of the throttle and potentially creating a wreck, felt comfortable enough to put it 3 wide, and all drivers held their lines. Everybody was able to go through there, so definitely could have been a lot worse than what it was. So good heads-up driving there as we see the 91 of Diltz now trying on the outside. Doesn't quite have the run there, waiting for the one of Bartel to get up there. The 18 of McKinney hops to the high side and says, nope, psych, back down to the inside in front of the 17 of Loomis.
I'm just really baffled. I thought there's going to be a lot more 2x2. This top side just does not have speed. I guess these guys have tweaked their setups more over the offseason for this place, and the inside is clearly the way to go here early on, especially with a hotter track being in the 90-degree mark still. So got to get yourself to the bottom, but you can't make passes when you're on the bottom. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's one thing that these drivers on that low side have. They have that safety net. It's that double white line separated by the red line to their left. That is their safety net down there. That's no man's land. So if they put their truck right next to that, nobody's going to their left side. It's going to force drivers to go to that high side, which means these drivers are going to have to get that high side organized, Jeremy, and they're going to have to utilize that side draft. As you see, these drivers are getting braver and braver as we go on, because now you see these trucks getting closer and closer in the corners side by side. It's that side draft coming in. They know they're going to have to try to utilize that in order to make some ground.
Yeah, it's a good thing they have that safety net there on the bottom, because the inside's such a dominant lane at the moment. You got to be like the Sherwood Williford, who does slide right in front of the 18 there to try to... Oh, we got a wreck here. Turn 3, TJ Bartel on the number 1, the 28 of Cody and McKinney, last week's winner at Phoenix. It looks like a couple other trucks involved here as they came through turn 3. The one just had some wall glue dusting, and it caused a wreck because, well, we're in a super speedway pack.
Yeah, and that's something we don't really see that often anymore, is that wall glue. And what he's talking about is these trucks is, heavy impact on the 28 of McKinney on that one. But what Jeremy is talking about, folks, is a wall glue situation. These trucks carry so much speed going in that corner that once they make contact, it is so hard to try to pull it off that. And then, of course, when you're getting sandwiched and thrown back into the corner from the 28 of McKinney like that, it makes it a little harder to get that truck off the wall. But tough break for a couple of these trucks, Jeremy.
Yeah, 3 trucks in total there. No drivers are pitting, Dustin, at least in the top half of the field. You don't have to make that pit before the stage break, so which is in 9 laps at this point, which you're still seeing on board from the 28 of McKinney. And yeah, that was a pretty hard hit there. Super speedway racing, you definitely need your fenders intact. You need all the downforce you can get through these corners, and a little bit of a crinkled fender could make or break your night here.
Yeah, it really could. So now this leads to the question, Jeremy, on what some of these drivers are going to do. We are 8 laps away from stage break right now, the end of stage 1. We've already seen some ill-handling cars. Do some of these drivers, do they come in for service to their pit crew, get some 4 fresh sneakers on there, fill it up, try to make a run for it, or do you pretty much just stick with what you got, make it the last 8 laps, get it to that stage break, and then come in on the same cycle as everybody else, Jeremy? What is your take on that one?
I say if you're the top half, you stay where you're at. I say if you're in the back and have not much to lose, because you have 4 sets of tires at a super speedway, you don't know how many opportunities you're going to get. And this track does wear them out. So I say if you're in the front half, you keep that track position because of how hard it is to pass here. If you're in the back, you take that gamble within 10 laps left before the stage over. That's when you come down pit road. Want to make a quick mention too. Sherwood Williford in the 33 had some internet issues, dropped out temporarily due to a packet loss. So the 33, he had a pretty strong truck, going to find himself multiple laps down. Also, the number 7 Brian Hoskins will be your first Lucky Dog Award presented by Martin Sports, getting the hashtag Get a Grip Award for that number 7 Brian Hoskins. Puts him back on the lead lap, which the only truck now will be Sherwood Williford 1 lap down.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, but that is that is what we live in nowadays. Is when we are doing league racing on iRacing, we are at the whim of internet and mechanical issues. We have mechanical failures just like the real guys do, so it tends to happen. But like I said, you read my mind, Jeremy, when it came to doing just that as far as pit strategy, and that was if you are in that front half of the field, if you're that Richie Coy, if you're Smith in the 5, if you're Goebel in the 25, all them on back, easily the top 10, I would say top 15, I'm not coming in. Track position is going to be so vital here. We've seen that. Richie Coy started on the pole. He's led every single lap since the drop of the green flag up until that caution there. Still has led every lap. Track position is going to be key. So I 110% agree with you, and it looks like about everybody in the top 15 did as well, Jeremy.
Yeah, mechanical failures are the same exact ratio of failures compared to like internet dropouts. You don't expect it. It happens at random, and it's just a part of the game. But we're going back to green flag here for the final 7 laps on this stint before stage is over. The number 5, Talon Smith, gets a great start here with the 19 as they have a 1 truck separation behind or in front of the 2 guys behind them. The 5 is really wanting to get clear of the 19, but I just think the 19's in such a great position here with a dominant pusher from Lane Allen. I think 19 Richie Coy's going to have no problem holding his position.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was a phenomenal start, though, by the 5 of Smith, as he really got a good jump on that one there, but that inside lane, Jeremy, just so dominant right now, and now the 5 of Smith is left out on that high side, is trying to find an opening to get back behind the 19 of Coy, but now that spot is filled up by the 14 of Lane Allen. So now Lane Allen in the 14 takes up that second position on the inside lane, followed by the 25 of Goebel on that inside lane as well. So, Jeremy, it's, again, shaking things up. We got 5 laps before stage break, so anything could happen at this point in time.
I feel like the outside line has its best chance right now with that 5 Talon Smith. Clearly one of the faster trucks this evening. I think they have a great chance, especially with Bobby Terrell in that 4, new to Fury Motorsports in 2023. Those 2 great fast guys early on. But you see behind the 4, the 27 and on back, they're just a little extra space given between those guys as the bottom lane has a little more in count and a little tighter in the pack. So it's just going to help propel this inside line to do what they do best here, as Lane Allen's almost clear of the 5 exiting 4.
Yeah, those front 4 right now on that inside lane are butted up. You could throw a blanket over them, and that's what's picking that speed up. It's what's allowing them to keep that speed. After that that last truck, that 00 of Brown on the inside lane, there's a little space between him and the 3 of Bliss. But look at the space on that high side, though, between Smith and the 4 of Terrell, as Terrell tries to close it back up now. But then look at the space between Terrell and Ryan Chapman. Just the organization is not there. Maybe they haven't ran together enough at this track to build that comfort level, because it does, Jeremy. It takes a lot of comfort to run so close to somebody, especially at tracks like this where it's pedal to the metal, balls to the wall, and you're going, and the smallest little mistake can create the biggest of wrecks.
Speaking of mistakes, someone in the back got heavy loose. They were able to save it, trying to figure out who that was. Looks like the 99, that being Stephen Hollingsworth, getting loose off exit of turn 2. He saves it all good, but right now you're looking right there. Justin Diltz gets tagged there, coming through the tri-oval, saves it somehow. Impressive driving skills there by Justin Diltz, which we've seen this a couple times where this guy has a good hand on the wheel.
That was a good handle of that wheel. This was after he got tagged, elected to go through, just missed that commitment cone, which is good, because that would have been a black flag there. Excellent heads-up driving by Diltz in the 91. That could have been 10 times worse, Jeremy, than what it actually was.
It really could have been. Going back to the action, the 25, Nick Goebel, trying to be a hero on the top. It leaves 3rd place on the bottom. Going to bring the 5 of Talon Smith with him off exit of turn 2. Looks like the 25 has a nose on the 14. Can he do anything for the 19, as those guys are now side by side, coming through the turns 3 and 4 for the final time before stage is here. Richie slides up just enough to move the 25 out of position. Going to be a drag race to the line. The 25 of Nick Goebel takes the first lead change of the night to take the stage away from Richie Coy.
Well, that goes to show you, Jeremy, that high side is there. You just have to get the right chess pieces in order, as the 25 of Goebel does take that top spot at the end of stage 1 over the 19 of Coy. Excellent pushing from the 5 of Smith, though. I would definitely say, Jeremy, that they have found where their chess pieces need to be on that high side to make this a 2-lane race. So this might be the time now where some of these drivers that were dedicated to that low line might want to start kind of working some other plans and figuring out exactly how they want to do it, just in case they have to switch up where their chess pieces are placed.
And how they figure that out during this caution break, we're going to kick it over to picture-in-picture mode. We'll be back with you guys after some commercial from our sponsors. And welcome back to full screen action here from the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series on Nerd TV. Whether if you're watching from YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, chats are open. It's been a little bit of a quiet scene there in the chats this time. I know we got about 15 to 16 consecutive viewers right now. So if you want to give any thoughts or ideas, feel free to shout it out. Got about a half a lap left before these guys go back to green flag action for the remaining 86 laps, if I did my math right there. Got a new leader, Nick Goebel and Brody Hanna. Brody Hanna's going to resume this race P1 after the pit stops and the late push there from the 25 to pass the 19 of Richie Coy to
Jeremy,
come to stage end.
Brody
Hanna said, hey, I'm going to one-up you in the pit road.
Do you see who's lined up on that inside lane, Jeremy?
It wouldn't have to be 3 of the 4. And then the 4th truck on the outside second row is all Fury Motorsports, would it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it would be as we go back to green flag racing. Brody Hanna on the 23 gets a good start. He has teammates Coy and Solari behind him in the 19 and 11. Excellent start by Goebel on that top side, though. And he has behind him another Fury Motorsport driver, the 4 of Bobby Terrell. So right now, Goebel is in a sea of fury, so to speak. As now, Jeremy, this is when I have a feeling the gloves are going to come off. Drivers have seen that high line, can come to life, can get to work. As the 4 of Terrell gets an opening there, I'd have to say that was well planned out by Tony Solari, as now 4 Fury Motorsports are nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail, Jeremy.
25, Nick Goebel is a part of McKinney Racing. He is a lonesome driver out there. His teammates are nowhere nearby. First teammates back in 12th place there. So you just have to hold in line. He's got an excellent pusher from the 14 of Lane Allen behind him. This is really the first time we've seen the 14 attempt the top side of the track. Let's see if he has any speed up there to keep the 25, which right now, I think Brody's the lesser of the two between him and the 19. That's on the 25 and the 14 to keep up side by side for the race lead.
Yeah, this is the most life we have seen out of that top side since Goebel made that run with Smith and the 5 behind him to end stage 1. This is the most life we've seen. Both lanes equally stacked as far as horsepower right now. So, Jeremy, like I was saying, this is where the gloves are going to come off. I have a feeling this is where you're going to see some sparks fly. Drivers are not going to be as lenient and as giving as what they were prior to the end of stage 1. So this is when stuff is really going to get going.
Yeah, come back to the chats here. Amarelli asked what happened to Smith. Well, we don't know. We don't know. He entered pit road there in the top 5, and he got to his stall. He changed his tires, and the team just held him. So I'm not sure if he had to leave out of his seat to go grab something like a drink or whatnot, or if there was something else repair-wise that we didn't have any idea about. I know he's got a little damage to his door panel, but I don't think it warranted that much of a time break. But that did set Talon Smith, who was a dominant truck there. Now he's residing in 21st place after that restart.
Not out of the race yet, though, and we know that Smith has got a hot rod underneath him in that number 5. He's been up towards the front, definitely helped push Goebel to the top spot to end stage break 1. So he has a hot rod. He's got plenty of time. We're only working lap 49 of 130 scheduled right now. So as long as he plays his cards right and he puts his truck in the right spot, he could be up there in no time. We've seen a lot of drivers do it. So don't count out the 5 of Smith just yet. As again, Jeremy, we are still side by side. Right now, the 23 of Brody Hanna for the first time gets completely clear of the 25 of Goebel. And now Goebel is racing side by side with the 19 of Coy. That reminiscent, but again, look at the drive that topside gets coming back up, almost pulling nose to nose, equal again with the 23 of Hanna.
Goebel is just showing how fast of a truck he does have. Him in the 14 and the 88, there's only 3 trucks really helping. Michael Blackner right behind them has a couple truck length separations, so the draft effect isn't as strong from the Blackner machine there. So really the top 3 on the top are pushing him, and the 25 are just so dominant right now. Him and Brody Hanna are just deadlocked. They cannot leave each other's door panels. As now we're 50 laps in. Goebel's got a strong truck. He's going to be one of my mid picks here tonight.
Yeah, he's definitely got a strong one. As long as he's got that pusher, as long as he has that official or unofficial teammate, however you look at it, he can definitely pull that lane and lead that lane. That truck is definitely geared towards clean air and out front. So if there's any drivers or any crew chiefs listening to this broadcast right now, you might want to keep that in mind if you want to try to push somebody. We're on board right now with Colton Gum, and he has got a excuse me, a windshield full of all this racing action. He's third in line on that top side behind the 25 of Goebel and the 14 of Allen. And he sees nothing but Fury Motorsports on that inside. But Jeremy, here we go. A little bit of a slide up, almost contact there between Solari and Gum. So we're already seeing these trucks kind of drift up in the corner there, which typically is that trouble spot.
88 Gum, he was that third truck that was involved in that wreck too for the only caution so far tonight under green flag situation. And they got, oh, speaking of which, the second caution now presented by Roast Jim Coffee is out as I'm just talking about it. We're going to try to find what happened there on the track. I did not see it initially coming through. It looks like maybe Brian Hoskins there, slow on the front stretch. And yes, Dustin, we had a 69 really slow. That's Steve Angie, really slow. And then as these guys came up to him, it looks like the 66 really checked up. Wanted to slow up for that truck slow, and then Brian Hoskins drove into the rear end of him, sent him around. It's going to bring out your second caution tonight.
Yeah, and it's just that quick on how things can turn up like that. You know, one thing can lead to another. Does not take much. We're trying to get some feed on it, but unfortunately, with the size of the track, sometimes with the the communication, we just don't get a feed on that, especially with the amount of drivers. 36 drivers on this track here. Might be kind of hard to try to get that as it happened further in the pack from where the feed was at. But it doesn't take much. One person checking up for another. You can see the damage right now on that 66, that left side, that 213simware.com machine is showing some damage. He is going to come down to the service of his crew along with a number of other drivers to try to get that. We do want to shout out again Emarelli in the chats on YouTube. Smith and Stubbs teammates, hope they work together. I tell you what, it's going to be a teammates delight out there tonight. Teammates are going to try to find teammates because this is where they can shine. It's not like a short track. It's not like a Bristol, Martinsville. This is like a Daytona, Talladega. This is where teammates can work together and help each other succeed. So definitely a good place to do that.
Got about a lap and a half left. We're going to go back to quick picture-in-picture mode, wait for the green flag, and we'll be back with you guys after a few messages. And back to full strain action here as we got 2 corners left before we'll take it back to green flag for the third time. Mr. Brody Hannon, the 23, is going to resume your race leader once again on this start as we've had 3 lead changes so far between the 19, the 5, actually 4, 19, the 5, the 23, and the 25 are going to be your 4 leaders so far tonight. Richie Coy, strong push here with the 23. They just can't get around this 25 machine, Dustin. Nick Goebel here putting on some awesome work Let's see if he can continue what he was doing here so far in this race. Going to be restarting on lap 57. Green flag is flying. We're good to go. The 25 with a decent start all by himself. The 14 kind of lays back a little bit, but Fury Motorsports going to suck up to each other and get an early advantage here.
Yeah, Fury Motorsports still lined up nose to tail. First 4 trucks on that inside line. That was an excellent start by the 25 of Goebel. But like you said, Lane Allen just laid back a lot on that restart. Didn't really bunch up or anything else. He is now bunched up and all over the back bumper of the 25, seeing nothing but Coca-Cola right now out of that front windshield of that 14 of Lane Allen. And Jeremy, this is where we're going to see that top line start to come back in again, as they're already starting to pull side by side with the 23 of Hannah.
Yeah, they are definitely giving it, and they're all right now. At least the 14 and the 25 are. They are not letting this Fury Motorsports group take it easy anyways. As Richie Coy he's got such a bad, fast truck right now. He just got to help his teammates stay in front here. This is the first time we've seen him since the stage break that he's back, not in the race lead, and we see how well of a push this 19 can be. But that 25, Nick Goebel, with that outside side draft alongside with the 14. This is a pretty awesome duo here. They're not teammates. They're different manufacturers, but somehow they're getting this job done so far on the top.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we were talking about, is you seen the 88 of Gum got real low and real close to the 11 of Solari coming out of that corner there. But like you said, this is the first time we've seen the 19 not in the lead, and we were talking about wondering how his truck was going to, because a lot of times you can gear your truck to lead and you can gear your truck to push, but finding that happy medium to where it's decent at both is really tough. Something I'm surprised to see is right now the 23 has cleared that 25 of Goebel a number of times. I'm surprised that he has not hopped up to that high side and let his teammates come to that inside. That is classic teamwork when it comes to plate tracks or super speedway racing, to control both lanes here. But that Fury Motorsports team right now just dedicated to that inside lane. As we go further back right now, Gum, after that slip up, has fallen back to 7th. Look at the space between him and the 14, Elaine Allen, on that high side. He's 3rd in line. And look at the space between him and the 22 of Blackner, Jeremy. Just not enough, just too much space in between those trucks to get anything going right now.
I just feel like Michael Blackner's just taking this race super easy. He's got a decent truck. That's why he's remaining inside the top 10 and in some parts top 5. But the 22, this whole race has been given more than 1 truck length of space between him and the guy in front. So I don't know if that's by design. I don't know if that's just by how the setup is able to push the trucks in front. Not entirely sure there, but it's a safe bet nonetheless. It keeps him out of any potential harm there, not of his own doing anyways, because he has a lot of control when you're not squeezed up next to somebody. So it could just be a strategy now that we're going to see a little bit stronger from the 22 later on this race.
Yeah, and look who has come up in the top 10, the 2 of Duranco. Where did he come from, Jeremy? Have not called his name all race long besides the starting grid. Had been riding in the back, kind of laxed, and look at that. Right now, he has put himself up in the mix, and look who is 2 trucks behind him on the high side, behind that number 1 of Bartel. We had Amarelli in the chats asking about Smith earlier. What happened to Smith after that stage break? And look who is back up there right now, running in P12, just outside that top 10, Jeremy. It is the 5 of Smith.
I'll tell you where Duranco came from. He saw the 27 of Chapman running back there almost in 30th place and said, you know what? I need my points. So this guy just shot up through the field, 31st to 8th now from the starting position, 64 laps to go. So Alan Duranco's got a great advantage at the time being in 8th place, so much further ahead than points leader Ryan Chapman. So, this is a good move here by the 2 machine.
Oh, absolutely it is. As we see things are getting a little hairy up at the front there. It looked like 14 of Lane Allen might have had a little trouble trying to follow, or the 88 of Gum might have had a little trouble trying to follow the 25, as they're still trying to get themselves sorted out. But again, we're going to go back, talk about some of these other drivers as well. Again, the reason why we're talking about the lead like that is because it's so close and it changes as much. But again, Duranco up there in 9th. Bartel, who started in P2, is still in that top 10. I mean, we look back, you got Webb in the 54. We haven't called his name all race, and he's back there just outside the top 10, trying to crack the top 10 right now. So, again, a lot of drivers, but just because they're not up here, folks, don't count them out. I mean, anything can happen in this. I mean, you got a lot of drivers back there that, Jeremy, I feel are just waiting until the last 20 to 30 laps before they really drop the hammer. I mean, you got Meese back there, you got McKinney, you got Bliss, you got Angie, Stubblefield, Diltz, O'Connor, Hollinsworth, who has been up there running as well, and Ryan Chapman on the 27 is back there. Again, I feel they are just biding their time, waiting until some of these laps get ticked off.
Remember, we're just one lap past the halfway mark here, and we still have a green flag pit stop to happen potentially if they can keep it green and clean the rest of the way. So if there is a green flag pit stop, that's going to shake some things up. Who's got the pit stops down here? Who doesn't? That's going to, we've seen that here in open races and races prior. It really spaces out the field. So, you know, if with that coming around, there's going to be some shakeup nonetheless. But right now, this is the strongest 2x2 racing we've seen all night. The top lane matches the bottom lane with the amount of trucks. So there's a dead heat now between top and bottom. Still in a 3-wide action, but I'm glad to see the top side trying to make some momentum.
Yeah, it is 2x2 from the front to the back, Jeremy. They are packed wall to line, line to wall. So, again, this is the best effort that top side has had, but it still seems like that bottom lane is still more organized, just slightly more organized than that top side is right now. But, again, like you said, we just passed halfway. These drivers are still trying to, you know, get things done, still trying to feel stuff out. And I'm like you, Jeremy. I think some of these drivers, like the 22 of Blackner, are still just taking it easy. They're not going to push the issue until they absolutely have to, and that's when it's going to be, like I said, that 30 laps to go. You might see that 22 maybe really start riding the bumper of the 88 there. So, again, just biding the time. I do want to shout out BJL1985 on Twitch, says, nice tunes, LOL. That was during the commercial break. So she either had to have been talking about the tunage coming from the Team Watson Racing setups commercial, the Martin Sports, or the Roasted Gems Coffee, any one of them. Hey, they're our sponsors, they're our promoters, and they love us, so they all rock. They're all nice tunes, absolutely.
You know, I'm a big fan of Team Watson Racing setups. They're awesome people. But that music, I don't think that's the one. I think they were rocking out to the Roasted Gems one personally. That one sounds so much better to me. But that's here or there. The inside line starting to take a little bit of an advantage here on the going through turn 3. The 25 is back. One truck now. He could potentially squeeze in between the 4 and the 19, and he wants to, but Bobby Trail closes that door quickly enough to where the 25 cannot. It looked like he tried to make it happen, just didn't have enough room. Still pretty racy, Dustin, all the way through the field, back to about 20th, 21st, before we start to see them taper off, which that's where you find your points leader, Ryan Chapman, in the 27. Still running 27th. He needs to find some speed in this truck to be able to kind of get back to his points lead, because the number 2 of Alan Duranco sitting in 8th place, he's going to take a huge chip out of his points lead here if this continues to be the way it is.
Yeah, and talking about a huge chip, we're on board right now with the 25 of Nick Goebel, a San Bernardino, California native right now. Just split up that team of Fury Motorsports. They no longer are 4 deep now. As you're looking on board, you got Hannah lead and Coy second, 25 of Goebel now on that low line, running third. And then further back, there's the 4 of Terrell and the 11 of Solari. So, excellent move. You want to talk about chess at 190 mile an hour? That right there was putting that team in check right there.
I wonder if the 4 just can't get the suck up like he wants to. He saw the 25 try to squeeze in a couple laps prior off of turn 4, which I brought attention to that. And then he still couldn't close in the gap between himself and the 19, and allowed the 25 to squeak down to the bottom to split Fury Motorsports 2 and 2, which, by the way, left the 14 hanging out the dry here. Now he's got Colton on his backside to try to get the 14 up there. But I wonder if the 4 just can't suck up like his other teammates can.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because it seemed like that was an issue as well. When he was following the 19 of Coy, it seemed like that there was a little bit of a space there, about a truck length. The only thing that's saving him right now is I don't know. We have only seen the 14 of Allen push another driver, so we don't know how strong he's going to be up on that top side leading. And as you can tell right now, Jeremy, that top side has lost so many trucks right now. You're looking at 4 lonely drivers up there trying to make it happen, but they're not falling back near as bad as what you would expect sometimes them to do. They're utilizing that side draft, but a lot of drivers lining up on that low lane, Jeremy. I mean, we are right now 36 laps past the stage break. So some of these drivers may be trying to prep for early pit, as we are already past halfway here, working up towards lap 80. So again, looking at 50 laps to go here in just 3 laps.
You know, I was trying to figure out why the top side had all of a sudden just dropped back like a rock, and I found myself looking at the number 8 of Colby Mice. Him in the 89, I think it was, coming through turns 1 and 2 a couple laps ago. They had a little bit of a loose situation, a quick 3-wide pass, a little bit of a checkup because the trucks got loose on the top half, and it really just kind of slowed up that top lane about midway. And of course, when you lose the numbers behind you, then the outside quickly tapers off, as we've seen the inside just be such a dominant lane here. So it's taken a while now, about 4 laps, for these top side guys to really kind of get themselves regrouped up. And you're seeing it now, the top half, at least the front half of the field, has about 6 or 7 trucks now pushing each other on the top side. So they're now regrouped. Now the question is, do they get back to where they were?
Yeah, that's going to be the real question, because now all your chess pieces have now reoriented. Chess pieces that you had up on that top side, like Goebel, are now on that low line. So again, you don't know if the 14 of Allen has got the strength of truck to be a leader to break that air. Oh, we got a truck in the wall there towards the back, Jeremy. Not quite sure who it was. Definitely looked like it was a black truck, but one was definitely scraping the wall all the way through the corner.
Yeah, that's going to be your number 99, Stephen Hollingsworth. Just came off at turn 4, or turn 2 rather, and just pushed wide. I'm not sure if that was just lack of tire grip. We are 40 laps into this stint now, so maybe he's just losing some grip in that 99 machine, but he did slap the wall. Able to keep it going though, no problem. Doesn't look like it's affecting his performance at the moment, so continue the truck forward. But the 25 of Goebel passes the 14 clearly now. It's 3 truck separation on the top half of the field here. Everybody else still side by side. But Dustin, we're going to kick it to a quick commercial break here, as we're about halfway between now and the finish. So be back with you guys after a few messages. And back to full screen coverage here, and you are seeing the first of the green flag pit stops here, led by Alan Duranco, who left 10th place with 5 other trucks to make the first pit stops on the green flag situation. And will we see a lot of trucks maybe split up and run by teams, or do they find some new partners out there to run with? We're going to find out here as the first 6 trucks are underway through here, leaving pit road nice and cleanly. Looks like no one had any issues that stopped Dustin, and I expect everybody else now to start thinking, hey, it's my turn now.
Yeah, because what's going to happen now is, I mean, you have to think just like a super speedway when it comes to this track and pitting. You have to pit with friends. Friends are going to make or break it. You've seen that was a good group of drivers coming in. There was about 6 or 7 trucks that came in. So they're going to be able to maintain and hold that speed quite well. And the thing is now is they're going to be making up time. They're not going to be racing side by side like a lot of these drivers are. You still see that high side still has about 8 to 10 trucks strong as they're still trying to figure out what's going on. You see the 25 of Goebel drift up, 14 of Allen. Now you see, here you go, Jeremy. All the Fury Motorsports. Oh, and we have contact. The 6 goes around as he comes in. Somebody did not check up. That is a 6 of Tori goes around, and that is going to bring out your Roasted Gems caution flag.
For the 3rd time this evening, and now we're starting to see how crazy it is to come down pit road. You guys are in front half of the field, and the 5 of Talon Smith was like, hey, I did not see you call out pit road, just ran straight into the back of the 6 because he did not know there was going to be a pit stop. And so I think that's why Dustin, the real life, decided to put these guys down turn 3 entrance, because you see that just massive checkup, nowhere to go in a big pack like this, and it causes a spin, brings out your caution.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate event. Looks like he might have made a little contact too. Yeah, he did. It was a little bobble, had no help from behind. I was just trying to check up, and as he got on the binders, it pulled that truck to the high side, Jeremy, and he just made the slightest bit of contact with the 5 of Smith, and that's what sent it going down. You see Smith had to readjust. Excellent job by Smith on that one, because my goodness, that truck was every way but sideways, Jeremy, on that one, and he was still able to hold it. So excellent job by everybody. We're getting a couple other angles here on the Nerd TV replay. This is right there, the 5. Oh, you do see the third. It looks like the 32 did go around on contact, but luckily enough, the caution flag did come out. So again, his position will be locked in. But Jeremy, we talked about it. Green flag pit stops, they can play havoc.
And those 6 guys that pitted do not reap any benefits from that, as all those guys are 1 lap down. Alan Duranco, who came down in 10th, he's your first truck 2 laps down. So huge dividends are not paying out for these first 6 guys. Everybody else will be coming down pit road. They will resume on the lead lap, of course, because they're underneath caution. They're not giving up all that time. That is huge for especially Duranco, who's 2nd in points, trying to capitalize on the Ryan Chapman situation where he doesn't have the strong truck tonight. Now Chapman's in 25th to Alan Duranco's 32nd right now.
Yeah, see, and that's just that is crazy that, the amount that they lost on that one. You said Duranco is 2 laps down right now, which is crazy because Chapman is not. And he come down with that group as well. So I'm wondering if there wasn't possibly something that happened with the 2 of Duranco on pit road that has put him in that situation.
He went back and looked at it, and yeah, he was held in pit road. Not sure why. He made speed. He didn't hit the cone. He came down pit road, and just his truck sat there. So yeah, a little bit more of a situation there from the 2 truck after you pointed that out. But some of these guys will get their lap back because everyone has to pit, and then the guys who've already pitted just get to drive around them. So there is that for you. But still, though, some situations going on here during this pit segment.
I tell you what, Jeremy, it would not be an iRacing sanctioned race on the iRacing platform if we didn't have a little bit of drama that involved some pit stops and everything else that was on there. So it's crazy. Like I said, this track breeds the same problems and same trouble spots as an actual super speedway is what Daytona or Talladega would. So I want to give a shout out again to BJL1985. She said, sounded like an elevator music. And not a bad thing, though. I have to say she's got to be talking about the Team Watson Racing Setups commercial, because that's about the best way to explain that. And we have Gary Sack on the YouTube side, who says, go Omnia, talking about Omnia Motorsports. That is the team of Stubblefield, and Hoskins is on that team as well. As we go back to Green Flag Racing right now, the 23 of Brody Hanna leading his teammate 19 of Richie Coy. They are side by side. Coy getting a good push from the 25 of Goebel.
First time we've seen teammates go side by side for the race lead here, but Richie is definitely the faster of the two. That's probably why he wants to jump out in front of the 23, but right now no help essentially. The 25 doing really fast racing overall tonight. Is going to push 23 Brody Hanna back in front of the 19s. The 19 now. He's got a new person behind. Oh, the 50 or 89 sideways Lex. Someone's flipping over for the fourth caution presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee.
Oh, there's the
Dustin,
big one.
That is the big one. I think at least 10 trucks involved. The 17, the 1, the 3, the 88, the 8, the 66, and quite a few others.
That is the big one, Jeremy. We're going to have a lot of footage, a lot of replay to go over. This is from Lane Allen. He gets door checked. He was the truck you seen go completely upside down. And there you see the carnage that ensued afterwards. I don't know. We might have to go on board with the 12 of Stubblefield there. It looked like he might have been able to get through that unscathed. It looks like the 2 of Alan Duranco getting a piece of that action as well. Not in the way he wanted. Goes down to the inside to try to block. Just completely gets into the back end of, I don't know who that is there that he got into, but they were checking up for the wreck. Duranco just did not do it. Tommy Schaefer, Justin Dilt's involved. Jeremy, a lot of trucks taking a hit on this one.
That was huge. So many trucks, and the 29 looks like he got unscathed from the 14 running him on the top side of his truck, and then he still came into a second wreck there and heavy damage. You see him as he's turning around 180 on the front stretch. I think one person that made it through cleanly was the 27 of Chapman, your points leader. Took a very hesitant approach getting around all the traffic, just spewed all over the racing surface. He's going to gain several spots from that, but yeah, 10 plus trucks involved. That is your big one for tonight. A lot of different situations and strategies now just thrown out the window.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing. I mean, that is your big one for the night, folks. That is a huge wreck. You see the 18 of McKinney getting door slammed by the 8 of Meese. Just nowhere to go with a lot of these, Jeremy. Just not a single place to go. We are going to try to ride on board here. See if we can't see what happens with Stubblefield. See if he gets through it. Checking up. He sees accident. Excellent heads up driving on the brakes. Splits both trucks. He does. Stub Nation Stubblefield makes it through unscathed. That was a good bit of driving right there, Jeremy, to get through on that one.
That was excellent driving there. There's a couple guys who did an awesome job behind the wheel to avoid everything that just incurred. I was going back and looking at the overall count. I'm counting 11 trucks. That guy made contact at some point in time during that wreck off of turn 4. All started by the 89. That'd be a Maxwell Solsch getting loose in 3 and 4 coming down the track on the very first lap of the restart. Everyone literally had nowhere to go. And that brings out the 4th caution. Huge, though, once again. But we got about a half a lap or so before we go back to green flag here. And at least the front half of the field, Dustin's about the same.
About the same. I mean, it did stir some things up. I mean, you take a look at it. You got Blackner in the 22s in 4th position. The 99 of Hollinsworth now in the top 5 again. The 54 of Webb in 6th. Bliss, who's been up in the top 10, is still there. Stubblefield in that number 12 is sitting in the 8th position. Angie in that number 69 is sitting 9th. And Curran in that 66 now in the top 10, Jeremy. And you see that the rest of Fury Motorsports, being Terrell and Solari, are now back in 11th and 12th. So it did kind of stir a couple things up, Jeremy. But I would have to say that the biggest heartbreak of that whole situation, I mean, besides all the trucks that got taken out, was Duranko, who is second place in points, was looking to try to have a good gain. Definitely took some damage on that one.
And not going to happen anytime soon. That Stubblefield machine, granted, huge from that wreck, up to 8th place. He was about a midfield truck. Let's see what he can do with all the free spots he had just earned from that one. Back to green flag action. The 23 of Brody Hanna gets a great restart over the 25 of Nick Goebel. 19 of Richie Coy's teammates going to help push him there. And then the 99 of Stephen Hollingsworth, who's had an up and down day. Remember, he was in the wall about 10 laps prior to that caution that just came out. Now he's finding himself back there in third.
Yeah, and would you call free spots though that the 12 of Stubblefield earned? Because I mean, he wheeled that machine pretty darn good to stay out of everybody else. So I definitely say they were well earned. But he was trying to make his way up there, and the 25 of Goebel and the 22 of Blackner just shut the door on him on that low lane. So right now he's sitting back there in that 6th position, just outside the top 5, but strong running there. I don't know, Jeremy. It looks like that these drivers might have learned a little something from that incident that just took place, because there is no high side whatsoever besides that number 54 of Webb up there all by his lonesome.
Yeah, I'll agree with you that Stubblefield earned those spots, not necessarily free, but he definitely wheeled it around to get there. So well earned. That moves him up to 6th place now, 7th after he crossed the line that time on lap 97. As we're about 33 laps away from this race being officially over. Come through turns 1 and 2 here onto the back stretch. The inside line has the most trucks and all nose to tail, really bundled up there, getting an excellent push. And only 2 trucks now on the top, being the 54, the 4, the 69 temporarily jumps up there of Steve Angie, trying to see if he can do anything on the top side.
Yeah, he's jumping up there trying to get something going. I mean, Jeremy, they know that they have to get something going on if they want to try to break up this tag team tandem duo of Hanna and Coy up at the front of this. They know that it can be done, as now they have the 99 of Hollingsworth. He was strong up there earlier in the race. This is the first time that he has been back up there leading the pack, is now he's trying to pull side by side, nose to nose with the 19 of Coy.
Even getting really closer to the first half kink of the trial over there. The 99, though, leading the charge on the top here. Up to the side door there of the 19 of Richie Coy. This is the strongest between the 99 run. He's trying to do it. Oh, the 54, it looks like, up into the outside wall. Rick Webb does not bring up the caution, but somebody else in the back does. Looks like the 69 of Steve Angie does go around. I don't know if anybody else did, but that brings out the 5th caution tonight, presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee.
Oh, and that was an unfortunate. I think that was a direct relation to the 54 Webb getting up in the wall. It looked like Webb got wall glued, and it was trying to slow up there a little bit. It looked like he might have had just a little bit of help from behind there, Jeremy, as the 69 of Angie went around. We're going to get another look at it. Yeah, it was just everybody just got bundled up. I'm not going to put blame on any driver on that one. You know, it wasn't the 5. Or anybody else. They were just racing. Everybody was just trying to stay out of everybody else, and just there was not enough track there. Track was not wide enough, and the laws of physics, 2 states of matter cannot occupy the same space at the same time.
Not with our current technology we have. And yeah, the 69 was Steve Angie was trying to avoid Rick Webb there up against the wall, and just came down just enough where he found Talon Smith's right front fender, sent him around. Thankfully, that wreck could have been much bigger than what it was. Only 2 trucks technically involved in that one. Caution does fly, though. That's a break for Angie, because iRacing could have not thrown that caution. He would have had a lot of work to do, but you can get 4 fresh tires on that thing and reset. I don't think there's any damage done to that 69, so we're all good.
Yeah, I would have to agree. That's the best case scenario at a high-speed track like Atlanta here. You know, there might have been just a little bit of fender crinkle there between himself and the 5 of Smith, but nothing that's going to make or break anything. No other drivers were collected. No walls were hit. You know, caution come out, you know, stack them and rack them. Let's get it going. Let's get it back racing again. So give a little bit of time. Angie's been running strong. Was running right around the 10th place, 9th, 10th place when that happened. Fell back to 18th, but again, it does not take much, Jeremy, to get back up there. So don't count out that 69 just yet.
Yeah, definitely not going to count out the 69. It's just I know that inside lane is so dominant, and to pass someone on the top side, you have to do what Williford was doing really early in this race. You have to kind of get a good strong run on the bottom, move to the top, utilize the side draft, and if you can be lucky enough to find a hole a couple trucks in front of you to go back to the bottom, kind of like a leapfrog, that seems to be like the quickest way to move yourself to the front, because the outside just cannot maintain for more than a few laps at a time. So that's going to be your truck that's going to be able to move from the back to the front, is to be able to do that kind of a pass effect there.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, you're gonna have to use this track and use up all the track if you're gonna want to try to get a run on that high side and edge it forward as strong as what people want. Secondly, you're gonna have to break up that tag team duo of Hannah and Coy right now. They're running 1-2. They're both leading the lane right now. The best bet is for the 25 of Goebel and the 99 of Hollinsworth to get right up on their back bumper and not let those two drivers get nose to tail, because if you do, you're going to have a hard time breaking them up. Goebel was able to break up that team earlier in the race, split them up. You see where some of the other Fury Motorsports drivers are sitting at right now. You got the 11 of Solari sitting back in 11th. Terrell and the 4 is sitting back in 8th, so you can break them up, but they have to stay on par with that. And like you said, just like how Williford was doing, you have to use that track. Utilize that speed. Don't try to scrub off near as much, and you have to have other drivers willing to run that same line with you. If you can do that, you can get that top side running.
Let's see if the 19 can, Richie Coy, lead the charge on the top and get him and the 99 of Hollingsworth to get some momentum, because they're going to need it. The 23 and the 25, Brody Hanna and Nick Goebel, are just so strong. They're on the bottom. It's going to take a lot of effort to get these guys propelled forward. Third place on the top, though, that number 12, Timothy Stubblefield. This is the furthest this guy has ran all race long. What can he do to help this front trucks in front of him, being the 99 and the 19? Oh, the 25 hits the back of the 23 with a little bit of a checkup of a restart there. So temporarily, the 23 is going to get a launch, but the 19 and the 99, oh, actually the 99 goes down to the bottom. He's going to help Brody Hanna through turn 1.
And this is exactly what needed to happen. I mean, it was a tough start for the 25 of Goebel and all the trucks on back on that inside lane. But look at the 19. They broke it up. Brody Hanna right now on the inside. The only thing he can do right now is defend that inside lane. You see the 99 hop up to the top side. Now Goebel's got to close the door. He has to close the gap on that 23, which he does. So that is now locking all the Fury Motorsports drivers away from each other. And that's exactly what these drivers needed to do to really try to get things going. Now they need to try to get that top side organized, Jeremy, because we are getting ready to work 25 laps to go in this event. This is make or break time. This is do or die. This is for all the marbles. This is putting everything on red. You know, this is where it's going to happen. They need to make it happen.
One truck in the back gets loose, entering turn 3, and there's a wreck here. The 22, the 16, actually the 32 and the 16. No caution by iRacing. Two guys are looping it around in the back. There's the caution. Finally out there. 6th-1 of the night presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. It's going to be the Seth Vaughn and the 16. The 32 of Randy Henshaw. I think that's one of the Omni Motorsports drivers. Just... It looks like the 16 just got really bad loose. Actually made some, a little further back. It looks like some contact was made. It sent one of the trucks down to the bottom. Door slapped the 16. He came back up the track, and that's what ensued the caution.
Yeah, and the 32 of Henshaw was just down on the apron there and just looked like he got loose. Yeah, it's... That's, again, I'm not surprised by anything. A lot of these trucks, they get very uneasy, especially when you're going from different gradients and different, elevations of surface and bankings. They do not like it a lot of times, and they will let you know. And unfortunately, sometimes, I mean, that's what happened. You see the 32 of Henshaw was right there, was almost kind of stuck on the banking a little bit. So it's an unfortunate event that does bring out the caution. They get to restack them, re-rack them, try it again, Jeremy, see exactly what we can't get done. The big game changer on this one is Fury Motorsports is now completely separated. All 4 drivers are completely separated and not anywhere near each other, with the exception of Terrell and Coy, who are running 5th and 6th at this point in time, but they are going to be starting in opposite rows. So this is going to get interesting pretty fast, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's the furthest back the 19 has been all night. If he wants to repeat Atlanta, he's got some serious work to do now. Went back and looked at it a little further. That was the 6 of James Torrey, who got tagged by the 42 of Kyle Milliken to set off the 16, going down to the bottom and re-emerging on the track, hitting the 32. So a total of 4 to 5 trucks looks like involved in this one. And you're seeing on your screen now I don't know if that's, I know it's showing you on the screen the 42, but he was a part of that accident. I'm surprised he would get the Lucky Dog Award, considering he's the one who made the contact to bring out that caution.
Yeah, I don't know, Jeremy. I mean, he's passing back. He just got a lap back, so not
He sure did.
not sure on how that works or how iRacing's timing or scoring when it comes to that. So, but again, Milliken gets that lap back. That Martin Sports hashtag get a grip lucky dog. He gets to re-rack it back up and see exactly what's going to happen on this one here, but he's got a lot of work ahead of him if he plans on doing anything, Jeremy. I'm going to be curious to see exactly how these drivers are going to try to fare and if they are actually going to be able to get that high side working, because right now it looks like Brody Hanna has taken a lot of notes from his teammate Richie Coy and has locked that truck down to that low side right next to that white line.
As the race leader, you have to do it. There is no other option. You got to run the bottom. The top has not sustained. It's been proven for 100+ laps now. So what the 23 is going to need is Michael Blackner, who has been giving a lot of room to the guy in front all race long. Michael Blackner now needs to put the pressure on the back of the 23 to make that happen. Before we go back to green flag, we're going to do a quick shout out for our longtime partner here at Nerd TV and Nerditudes. It's going to be Martin Sports, the small company with a big time product, home of these sim gloves. They make the most breathable and durable gloves the sim racing world has ever seen. Also specializing in fully customized sublimation printing on everything from team uniforms to shirts and hoodies, hats, and now with custom embroidery. All this allowing for zero restrictions on color and absolute fastest turnaround in the business. So check out their full apparel lineup at martinsports906.com or martinsports.gg, which you see on your screen. Either website, it's the same exact place. Super nerd at checkout. It's going to save you 25% off. That's right, 25. That's a huge discount from martinsports.gg. Going back to the green flag here as they're going through turns 3 and 4, waiting for the pace car to drop for the 7th time. Took the green flag for the 7th time. I'm curious, Dustin. We see Michael Blackner win at California. He hasn't been up front too much this season, but I think in this position now, if he can push the 23 really well, it's going to set himself up for a potential win tonight.
Yeah, it very well could. I mean, he's putting himself in a good spot. That was a good start by the 25 and the 23, the 99, all over the back of the 25 of Goebel. That's exactly what that top side needed. And look who's all over the back of the 99 is Richie Coy. 22 of Blackner drifts up just a little bit through apex of 1 and 2 as they come off of turn 2 side by side. Jeremy, this right here is exactly what this high side needed. Look at that run they are getting down. This is the strongest we have seen that high side all night long. Can they maintain this pressure right now? 21 laps to go, and this is the first time we've seen that high side really prevail over that low side.
Michael Blackner still just can't get his bumper to the back bumper of the guy who's in front. He's been the closest right now, about a quarter truck length space, but he definitely needs to suck it up more if you're going to try to protect the inside here and not let Nick Goebel get away with it on the top. Coming off of turn 2, looks like the inside finally got a little extra speed off that corner. It's going to be allow for a dead heat for the 23 and the 25 entering 3.
Yeah, as a 23 now edges back out in front, but don't count out that high side yet. They get that good run coming off. That's where that high side, they can keep those motors wound up. Gets that good run coming off. And I tell you, that 99 is all over the back bumper of the 25. So much so that Richie Coy is actually fallen off of the back of the 99 just a little bit. As him and the 4 of Terrell get awfully close coming off of turn 2 there as they barrel off into turn 3, Jeremy. 19 laps to go. This racing is starting to get fierce, starting to get crazy. And you can kind of see that. You see that 12 of Stubblefield. He's given about a truck length and a half right now between him and Richie Coy. Maybe he's not seeing something that he's too comfortable with right now.
Starting to see a little more shifting through the whole pack, really a little more left to right action. truck's looking a little more unstable, or maybe it just have their heart rates up and they're having a little bit harder of a time holding a straight wheel. But either way, they are still side by side, race lead all the way back to about 14th place. Richie Coy really needs to get that outside going, get right to the back bumper of the 99, get him a good slingshot here. But at the same token, you don't want the 25 to pass your teammate for the race lead. So do you go with the team advantage, or do you try to do it all for yourself?
And that's where it's tough. It's the rule of thumb, Jeremy. You and I have ran together for so many years. We've always tried to work together, but when it comes down to making it or breaking it, if it means you gaining positions as a driver, the team thing goes out the door when it comes down to 5 laps or less, left in the race. That's just how it goes. So I have a feeling at some point in time, the 19 of Coy, even though Fury Motorsports, just like every team out here, like Omnia Motorsports, you name any team out here, they are all for their teammates, but they also know that there's points on the line. They are trying to make up as many points as possible.
Nick Goebel in that time off of turn 2 does lead and almost gets clear of the 23. I think he's cleared. Nope, it's just by a fender right now. I'm not sure if the 25 wants to go down to the bottom or if he wants to maintain on the top here with Hollingsworth on the 99. It's just he's getting so close a couple times. I guess he doesn't want to cut it too close and cause a big wreck, being the first 2 trucks here in the field. But just really strong racing here for the top 15.
Yeah, top 15. It is side by side by side from first row back to 7th, 8th row, all the way back. The 22 of Blackner drifts up, gets close to the 99 of Hollingsworth. That separates out both drivers from the driver in front of them. And Jeremy, like you said, we are seeing a lot of drivers shifting left and right. I don't know if it's just the product of the beast. 14 laps left. They know that it's getting close to the wire right now to get things done, so they're really starting to pull out all the stops, or if the handling of these trucks is just getting to that point to where they're getting tougher to maintain and keep underneath them. We've already seen a couple trucks get loose, spin. That's where a couple of the Roasted Gems caution flags have come out. Maybe we're seeing that here as well, Jeremy.
You very well could, and 99 is definitely pushing Goebel as much as he possibly can to sustain this top momentum, but the bottom just seems to be the place to be overall for the most part, as we're now coming up to 13 laps to go. I think at this point you throw the team thing out the window. You have to serve yourself. As much as you don't want to, you have to do it. Especially for the 19 who wants to try to repeat Atlanta. He's had the fastest truck in qualifying and practice. One of the dominant trucks here, but once you lose the lead, it's really hard to get it back. Yep, a little contact, the 99. I don't know if that was net code or not, but hits the 22 just enough to get him sideways. Going to completely kill off the momentum temporarily on the top. The 99 does find gap at the bottom right in front of your points leader, Ryan Chapman. So now, single file here for the first 4 trucks.
Ooh, you talk about a pucker moment. My goodness, you know that he was clenching them butt cheeks real tight on that one there, because he was right at the front of the pack, and that thing was slideways and sideways all the way through. Excellent job by the 99 of Hollingsworth to keep that truck underneath him. But look at the damage it did. All the ground lost on that high side right now. It's just shoved everybody else back. So, again, it's going to take a little bit of time. They got 11 laps left. They're already starting to make ground, because right now, Goebel has got that 19 of Coy behind him. We know the Coy can push. He can definitely push. He did it all day long with Brody Hanna, and they were wicked fast. So this could be a good combo, and we know that Goebel can lead that top side. This could be a good winning combination right here, Jeremy, to make it for a fantastic race finish. I do want to make mention as well that Jessica Stubblefield says, stay clean, Stubbs. And I tell you what, he's doing everything he can. He did an excellent job getting through that wreck. Right now, you see him third in line on that top side. He has broke the top 5. He's trying to work his way up. I do want to make mention as well that the 69 of Angie has broken back into the top 10 after being involved in that, not the last caution, but the caution before that. So he is now broken back into the top 10 as well, Jeremy.
Doing it well, too, on the top half of the track. Able to make those passes happen, and he is back in somewhat of contention. That last lap by the 25, that's an awesome side draft run there. Oh, we got a wreck in the back here. Multiple trucks to the top. That's going to bring up the 7th caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. as we're going to try to figure out exactly what happened there.
And
It was about 5 trucks back. We saw some contacts, some people getting loose and into the wall eventually. I think I saw the 18 minimally.
it was 69 of Steve Angie. I was just talking about that. Call that broadcaster's curse. It is a real thing, folks. It does happen for all the Angie fans out there. I apologize for bringing him up. That was a tough situation there. Just got a little bit of help there from the 18 of McKinney. Again, these drivers just trying to give it everything they can, trying to push as much as possible. And that time there, just a little too close for comfort as the 18 does clip the 69. You see it right here, just ever so slightly right on that left rear, and around goes the 69 of Angie.
It almost looks like the 18 of McKinney wanted to go 3 wide and then was really hesitant on doing so. He had the momentum, and then it looked like he slowed up to maybe let the 69 back in front of him, but the 69 came down when he wasn't clear. So just a little bit of like a confused run there to spin the 69. 4 total drivers involved with the 91 of Dilts and the 00 of Tyler Brown. So let's bring up that 7th caution of the night. Gonna shake up the field once more. This time we're gonna be the 22 of Michael Blackner's gonna lead the charge. The first time we've seen him gonna lead the pack on the top side. 25 of Goebel now is gonna be behind the 23. It's a new race here for the lead.
It is. It is a whole new race here, and again with 7 laps to go, it's gonna get crazy. Yeah, Edward Blum in the chats on YouTube said, "Let's go, Angie," and then reverted that comment and said, "Oh, got jinx." Yes, I apologize. I will take blame on that. So, Steve, if you go back and rewatch this, I apologize because you were making some good headway on that one there. It did, Jeremy. It looked like it was just a very confused moment. Again, every driver trying to go for everything they can. And it did. It looked like the 18 of McKinney wanted to try to push it 3 wide, thought better of it. The 69 was like, hey, I'm going to try to come down just ever so slightly. And again, 2 trucks can't occupy the same space on the track.
Yeah, I think you're parked for the rest of the night there for cursing the 69. But at the same time token, though, Edward did say, "Let's go, Angie," at the very moment of that wreck as well. So could have been a little 2-part system there. Which
maybe it was just too much. It was just a hair too much.
Angie. Too much Pudgy's pizza going on right there.
You can never have too much pizza, Jeremy. You know that.
That is correct. That is my favorite food. You are correct.
And I've never tried Pudgy's pizza. But you know what? I definitely would love to try it. And I know you, being a pizza connoisseur, would not turn down trying a new pizza either.
Absolutely. Especially locally owned, too, right? That's have some of the best pizza.
Oh, yeah.
But, Dustin, we have 5-lap shootout here and a half a lap. These guys will be going back to green flag on lap 126, scheduled 130. 5 laps. What happens here? Does the 22 somehow get a miraculous run at the top and can drop in front of the 23? Does the 23 get an excellent start once again? My oddball person right now is that 22 Blackner. We have not seen him up front leading anything. So the way he's pushing has been very, very calm in comparison to most others. So I have no idea what this top line is going to look like after they take the green flag.
Yeah, and if I'm the 25 of Goebel right now, I'm not moving myself away from the separation between the 23 and the 19. That's key. You have to do that. If I'm the 22 as they go back to green flag racing, if I'm the 22, I'm going to try to get clear and try to drop down, especially having that for a Terrell, another Fury Motorsports driver. I'm going to try to get as much separation here as possible. Again, in super speedway racing, this is chess. At 190 plus mile an hour, as you see, these drivers are not giving an inch, Jeremy. They are so close right now going through the corner. 5 laps to go as we enter turn 3.
22, I think, had the nose advantage over Brody Hanna entering turn 3, but coming through turn 4, complete different story as the 23 almost has him completely cleared, and he does so at the line. So the inside definitely has the speed here. 4 laps to go. 22 really getting close to the 25's door panel to try to get that side draft to keep that momentum as much as he can.
Yeah, and the 25 jumps to the high side, Jeremy. This could be a make or break situation. That 22 of Blackner's got to be all over the 25. Is now the 23 of Hannah and the 19 of Coy are now nose to tail. We know they have been fast all night long together. That top side has got to get it pushing right now. You see the 27 of Chapman, third on the inside lane right now. Chapman working his way up. Again, Chapman out of nowhere had been running back in the 10th spot. And right behind him, none other than the 12 of Stubblefield. So those two drivers trying to work their way up. Jeremy, 3 laps to go. This is going to get crazy.
Where did Ryan Chapman come from? He was running 20th place for the first half of this race and just slowly after each caution picked a spot up here or there. And now he's running inside the top 5 to add on to his points lead. If he can keep it there, he is side by side with the 25, trying to get himself sole position to third.
Sole position at third. He's all over the back end of the 19 right now, side by side with the 25 of Goebel as they are drag racing down the backstretch. Double zero is around, going to the inside. No caution, Jeremy, as it goes right now. Tyler Brown is around on the inside. This racing continues on. 2 laps to go as they are coming through. The 23 lead, 19 Richie Coy pushing, 27 of Chapman and the 25 of Goebel side by side. 1 lap to go.
1 lap to go, no caution, still truck slow on the backstretch. I don't think it's going to affect this main pack here as they come through turn number 2 for the final time. Brody Hanna has sole possession of the race lead. The 25 of Goebel gets turned.
Oh!
Huge wreck here. The 22, the 25, the 19, they're all wrecking. Still no caution. This is going to bring Brody Hanna to the checkered flags to win the Atlanta 200 here. 5th race of the season, 5th different winner of the season. Huge wreck there at the end.
All the way down to the backstretch. Contact made. There's your top 3, all in the single frame right now. The 23 of Brody Hanna, your race winner. Chapman, out of nowhere, comes up to finish P2 after being door checked and had to go below the yellow on that one. And look who finishes third after making it through that big massacre and the big one back on like lap 80 or 70 is Stubblefield, his first podium finish of the season.
What an entire event for the Stubblefield group, for Ryan Chapman, who were nowhere in sight the first half of the race. All of a sudden, they find themselves bringing home a spot in the Nerd TV booth post-race interview. Just completely crazy amount of storylines and situations that get them up to the front. That's huge for Stub Nation, for Ryan Chapman to continue that points lead. And that wreck, I think, all incurred there by the 27 just bobbling up. I know it's a straight line, but when they're so close, the air around these trucks get affected, and it shoved the 27 just enough to the quarter panel of the 25, and it sent everybody around.
Yeah, I was just looking off the back there just to make sure as we take a spin cycle there, just because the racing was so close, and that's what it looks like. It looks like there might have just been just enough of a bobble right there from the 27. And it just got that left rear quarter of the 25 of Goebel. Goebel then turned down into the 19 of Coy, and then just carnage ensued after that. 11 of Solari involved. 22 of Blackner went up on his lid. He went for a turtle ride and slide all the way down the backstretch. So again, just carnage here in the closing laps. Going into turn 3, completely changed the entire outcome of this race, Jeremy. But Brody Hanna bringing it home P1. Chapman P2, and Stubblefield P3.
And go down the complete rest of the running order. Unofficial results here. 4th place, Rick Webb. Also a pretty crazy race. Started 29th, finishes 4th. Kyle Milliken 5th after getting that lucky dog after causing one of the cautions, somehow able to bring it home top 5. 6th place, Joshua O'Connor. 7th place, Bobby Terrell. 8th place, Richie Coy. 9th, Shad Curran. Top 10, Josh Mayu.
Yeah, and then you got Joey McKinney in 11th. Stephen Hollinsworth, after that amazing save as he was going slideways, does bring it home in P12. Good finish. Justin Diltz involved in a couple incidents, but still manages a P13. Then you have Talon Smith in that number 5 in 14th. 15th is James Torrey. 16th is Douglas Hess. Michael Blackner, after taking that wild slide on his roof going into turn 3, finishes P17. Nick Goebel with such a strong truck all night long on that high side, finishes P18 after the smoke clears in that final wreck. Tony Solari, P19. And Steve, Angie, again, I apologize for us talking too much about it. Brings it home P20.
21st and everybody else a lap down or more. Tyler Brown, 22nd. Brian Bliss, 23rd. Seth Vaughn, 24th place. That's 7 of Brian Hoskins. 25th, Steve Loomis. 26th, Alan Doranco. 27th, Leonard Stang. 29th, TJ Bartel. 30th, Maxwell Solsch. 31st, Randy Henshaw. 32nd, Colby Mice. 33rd, Lane Allen. 34th, Colton Gum. 35th, Sherwood Williford. And Coney McKinney rounds out tonight's 36 truck lineup. And Dustin, it's time to take it back to a full screen commercial break for the final time and get the top 3 wound up. And we'll be back with you guys for the Martin Sports Post Race Show. Welcome back, race fans. It's time for the Martin Sports Post Race Show where we're going to bring in your guys' top 3 to talk to them and see what their thoughts were of this crazy race here at Atlanta, bringing 7 cautions to each. A lot of people had some storylines that were on the good or the bad. Either way, the third and second place really. I want to get their take. We're going to bring in Mr. Timothy Stubblefield, bringing home 3rd place in that 12 machine. How's it going, my guy?
It's going good. Feeling a lot better missing all them wrecks all wrecks.
Man, you were midfield truck the first half of the race. It looked like, about 70 laps in, you were just going to be content in that area. Then these cautions happened. There was that one wreck off of 4 where you dodged and weaved everybody. You gained like 6 spots alone through that wreck. How did you bring it home in 3rd?
Just missing wrecks. I know I missed qualifying. I said I'm going to start in the back. I'm just going to chill in the back most of the race, see how it plays out. And I said it was pretty good up to halfway. I said I'm going to start moving up, and then wrecks happened, and I got my spots through the cautions and everything.
Yeah, take us through. So that big wreck. I mean, we're just gonna call it what it was. It was the big one right around lap 60. Tell us what was going through your head when you see nothing but smoke. How did you make it through? Because you had to have dodged easily about 7 trucks, not making contact at all, and that was what turned your entire race around. How did you do it? What was going through your head at that moment?
I saw it, and I was like, "This is it. Race over with." And lane, I saw a line open up. I was like, "Dear Jesus, hope I make it through this." And missed 1 truck, missed 2 trucks. I think missed 3, 4, 5 trucks, and I was like surprised I made it through there.
Jessica Stubblefield always bringing Stub Nation into the chat. Wanted to give you a fantastic congratulations there to bring it home. P3 podium finish there with the arm emoji. Mr. Stubblefield, for all the Stub Nation fans out there watching, who do you like to think out there this evening?
Jessica's my life, so a big thanks to her and everybody that comes out and watch, and my teammates and everything. Just big shout out to everybody that runs this league, broadcasters and everything. So just big shout out to everybody.
Appreciate the words, man. Go ahead and celebrate with the team on a really well-earned 3rd place finish.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Have a good one.
You too, man. And that was the number 12 truck there of Timothy Stubblefield. Now we're going to bring in second place finisher, current points leader, Ryan Chapman. Welcome to the Nerd TV booth.
Hey, guys.
How in the world did you come from like 20th place to 25th for like the first 2/3 of the race into second place finishing here in the Nerd TV booth?
Honestly, I don't know. I kind of just put my head down and just slowly navigated the way up there. I mean, I have my teammates working with me, so big shout out to them. But really, it was just trying to find those gaps, trying to keep the car clean. And I was in 10th, and then we're just like, okay, this is the chance. And I knew a lot of the guys behind me wrecked out, so I knew this was my chance to get up there and kind of extend the points a little bit. So that was my main goal, was just keep the car clean, get to the end, and finish the race within the top 10. I gotta say though, we did have a little freak coming out of that stage break. The auto fuel was on, and it gave me 17 laps till it was empty. So I was praying for a caution, man, and with 9 laps left in my tank, it finally came, and we were good after that.
I tell you what, you've had a lot of people shouting you out. I do believe your mom was in there shouting you out as well, telling you good luck early on in the race before things got it. I mean, you even had Edward Blum on there saying that you were his pick, seeing as Angie got crashed out, because I obviously talked about Angie too much and gave him the broadcaster curse. But he says legend for that run. I tell you what, man, it's coming from the back. That has got to be one of the strongest runs coming up there. What does it mean to you right now to come into a track that's built like a super speedway, ran like a super speedway in these trucks, and come out extending your points lead for not only your team, but for Elevated Esports as well?
Honestly, it means everything, man. This is everything to me. I love doing this. I've been wanting to do this my whole life. Just racing in general is kind of where I find my home. And it's I don't know, man. It's just when I get in that zone, I kind of just zone out and just put my head down and find the way, man. You got to find the way in these tracks. It's luck, and you got to find it. You got to find it. That's all you got to do. You got to find that line and just run it and hope and pray. And that's what we did. We had some avoidance there, had some little issues, but we were able to recap on that and do it, man. I gotta give the shout out to the team. They've been helping me so much, like I said, this whole season. Honestly, if it wasn't for Justin bringing me on to Elevated, I don't know where I'd be right now. It's just crazy from last year to this year how much I was able to advance and the team advance, because everyone on the team has been doing good. Alan's up there in points. A couple other guys are up there in points. So we're coming, man. We told you, like at the beginning of the season, I told you we're coming. So.
Yeah, and I think about lap 70 or whatnot, all your competitors in the points battle were way ahead of you. Then looking at the final results, the top 3 behind you are, in 20th place or worse, and here you are in P2. So somehow, some way able to make it happen. Congratulations, man. Once again, the floor is yours for the final time before we send you on out tonight. Who would you like to thank?
Thank you, guys. First off, thank you guys for putting this on and enjoying this fun racing with us. My sponsors, SimMotion, 213 Simware, Elevated Outdoors, RC Gaming. My mom for, again, letting me do this. She loves watching it, loves supporting the team, loves watching you guys. Just everyone overall on the team and all that. So, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Appreciate everything, and we'll catch you next Wednesday.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. And that was your second place finisher, Mr. Ryan Chapman, extending his points lead by quite a bit, Dustin, as they head off to race number 6 next week. But now it's time to bring in Victory Lane. We had to miss it Monday. We're going to be all on it today. Mr. Brody Hanna, the 5th winner in 5 races. Congratulations, Brody. Going on there. At one point, you had all 4 of your trucks lined up. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom. Came out, mixed you guys up. What do you think the difference was for you? Was it just the track position on the bottom solely?
side to start in the back. I had a tight for me, but anyway, no. It's kind of keep it on the bottom. It's just up high or having and it worked out. That green flag pit stop and caution kind of they got a pitting under caution. Anyway, it was one thing after another all night. But
I mean, is that any surprise really coming to a track that ran like a super speedway? I mean, this is
Not
another
here.
super. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about. You know, tempers kind of flared a little bit for Phoenix because that's a short track, and then you come to this and it's a super speedway. So they were just gonna kind of. I mean, it was gonna have a chance, but you know, your team. I mean, kudos to Fury Motorsports. Like you guys had you guys lined up all four on the bottom lane. You and Richie were working together very well. What was going to happen if that wreck did not happen? What was the game plan for Fury Motorsports? Was he dedicated to push you straight to the victory? In mind, or were you guys going to try to do that?
I got there 2, 3, and 4 as he got there. At that point, I've done that before. I can't say anything. We've done that before. Until then, but to get to that point. Towards the end, everybody gets antsy, gets on top of each other. One small mistake there on the back. Hiccup with somebody to the right a little bit, and it was on. So.
And it doesn't take much. I immediately checkered flag. So I hate it for those guys. As far as weight I mean, my best finish is 11th. The other finishes were 23rd or worse. And that's two.
Yeah, remove one of those ones from 11th first. That's your new highest place finish. First 5 races.
And I see it every. There's so many good drivers out there. I gotta say thank you for working together for helping me there. They're doing a great job. Really kind of owe it to them to kind of keeping me up there.
Yeah, to what you said, there's a lot of drivers out here this season that we have not seen last season. The amount of pressure that's needed for Fury Motorsports and the other guys is even more amped up. Seeing all these different teams come out with really fast setups, really strong setups, able to push your team to the limit there. But you and Fury Motorsports have something at Atlanta. Richie Coy won last season. You won this time. So Fury Motorsports taking the past 2 checker flags here. So something with you guys in Atlanta are clicking, and hopefully continues to success here. But the floor is yours. Go ahead and shout out everybody you like to out Nerd TV.
Well, first off, I got to get a shout out to Timothy Stubblefield. I talked to him a little bit before I came in too. Great to see him have a good run finally, and I know he's got a lot of people watching on the broadcast, so it's good to see him finally get in here and be able to give them a shout out. And Ryan Chapman, finished second tonight. I know he kind of had a bobble there at the end, but I told him if that dude doesn't have a golden horseshoe shoved somewhere, I don't know who does. He's had some great runs. I mean, he's had some good. I didn't take anything away from him. He's had some great runs for sure. But he just seems to find his way towards the front at the end of these races. So great job to him as well. Got to thank Fury, everybody on Fury, Bobby, Tony, and Richie. We're working on these setups and getting them tuned in, and it's really worked out. Got to thank you guys for the broadcast for sure. Putting on a great show, and got to thank the guys in the league for being patient. We, growing pains. We got a lot of new people out there. We're trying to clean some of this stuff up. We want to put on a good show, good green flag, finish. Just a few hiccups there at the end, and honestly, I looked at the last one, and you can really just chalk that up to one small mistake equals a big error, and that's going to happen. So anyway, just thank everybody for sticking with us and coming out and racing with us, and I guess we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. We'll see you next week, and hopefully continue success for the remainder of the 2023 A season.
All right, thank you guys.
Yes, sir. And that was your race winner in Victory Lane, presented by Martin Sports, Mr. Brody Hanner, driver of the number 23 machine. And Dustin, well, what's your thoughts on Atlanta tonight?
Oh, it was Atlanta. I want to apologize too. That's part of the issue, pulling double duty. Dang it, Jeremy, we almost made it. I forgot one thing. I forgot that there were sound effects on the Martin Sports Truck Series logos there. So some of the stuff that Brody was saying was hard to hear. Edward Blum pointed that out. Man, almost made it. Brody is definitely not going to let me hear the end of that one because I said that we had everything going. But hey, you can at least hear me. I just kind of dropped it on the other side. But it was Atlanta, Jeremy. I mean, it really was. They raced, like Brody said, he started in the back. He thought there was going to be a lot of wrecks. That's why he started back there. And the guys drove very clean, very, very, respectable all the way through. Wasn't really very many wrecks. And then, at the end, just everybody trying to get as much as what they can. I mean, you run this like a super speedway. We said it time and time again. It's no surprise that happens. Just like what you would expect from a Daytona or Talladega. That's just the way that it happens. An excellent running by Fury Motorsports again. Fury Motorsports have been the only team to win at this track configuration in this series. So excellent job by them. Great job by Brody. He's had such a hard time. This season so far, luck has not been on his side. And apparently being close enough to Chapman has got him a little bit of luck. Finally got that win. Got a good finish there. Excellent job by Chapman again to extend that points lead. He's got a lot of people rooting for him. Again, excellent job. And I got to give it to Stub Nation. I got to give it to Stubblefield. Guy drove a smart race. He drove a restrictor plate race or a super speedway race just as I would. Try to be smart, be there at the end. Make some excellent cuts and moves. I would definitely have to give him. I'd have to give him the good hands of the race. Hands down, Jeremy. If we had an award for that, good hands of the race all day long for Stubblefield to put him in that position. And I would have to give the hard charger there to Chapman. I mean, he charged through that field, put himself in good position too. And like I said, I mean, it was good racing all around. Excellent runs for both Elevated Esports and Omni Motorsports. It's good to see those teams have an excellent run as well. So, I mean, it definitely could have been worse. I feel it was a pretty solid, stout race, Jeremy.
Yeah, hard charger Chapman. I think that's well earned. If there was a one driver to award for the best hands on the wheel, that would be the 12 Stubblefield, getting through multiple wrecks and somehow bringing home a top 3. But this is going to bring the end of our broadcast. One last time, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Full Throttle Sim Racing. We do this for you guys 2 times a week for over a year now, and we are loving our partnership. Hopefully that continues to be a successful thing for both parties. Join the action, FTSR.net. These guys have been doing this since 2006, so they know what they're doing, and that's why they bring these high car counts each week that you see them here on Nerd TV. Mach 1 Performance, race car fabrication shop that produces champions and winners in all sorts of racing divisions. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Mach 1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, an all-inclusive league points management system that allows to completely track your league stats and points with a simple upload. Visit them at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, get top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See the entire apparel line at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get notifications a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving the focus off the racing action. Visit iRacingIFlag.com for a full product line. The Butt Kicker, get that ultimate feel of a race car haptic response from the Butt Kicker unit. You go to their website, thebuttkicker.com, to see a full product lineup of haptic products for your sim rig. Team Watson Racing setups, get quality professional built setups for our asphalt oval needs. Visit teamwatsonracing.com for pricing and packages. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, the most shout out one tonight with the 7 cautions. Premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way with coffee from Roasted Gems Coffee. And you're going to find them at roastedgems.com to get a taste. All right, this is going to be it for us. We're going to meet you guys this coming Monday at Atlanta here for the Mach 1 Cup Series before next week, where the trucks take Circuit of Americas, where they take these trucks and all the mixed emotions from the past 2 weeks into our road course. So that should be a great time as well. But until then, you guys stay safe. Get your nerd on.
As always, it is not goodbye. Just till next time.